Mm, yeah, so I know a lot of people who, has used crystals in their life, or they have a career out of it, or it's part of their religious practice. So for me, this is one of the controversial topics that I've come across, simply because a lot of people don't believe in it. They associate it with magic. It has a lot of negative connotations associated with it. For me, it's simple as crystals are part of the earth. We harvest nutrients and minerals in different form from the earth. So why not have crystals in use, right? The same way we get salts and other things from the earth, we're able to mine things like diamonds and precious stones that we all use in everyday life. Oftentimes people will gift you your birthstone and all of these things. So why not use crystals too? And I'm not an expert. The person that I reached out to teach this class was charging me $1,700 a class, which is out of my budget. And she did not give me any other option. So I said, you know what? I've done a lot of reading. I know what it is like to ask all the beginner level questions. So let me develop this for you guys because I think it's an important facet of herbal medicine, especially since we have a lot of people selling crystals locally. We have them in necklaces, you have them available in rings as ornaments. You know, it's a widely available. Shalini has a store where she sells wands and other things with crystals. So I'm hoping that she could give us a little insight. If it is that I make any error, she can correct me on certain things. And I'm sure some of you would have used crystals or do use crystals in your everyday life. Um, So a lot of people still use it. I know in Iran, they harvest a lot of turquoise. Men use it like not, they just use it every day in their rings, in how they dress. Um, I know, I can't remember which country, I think it was Afghan. I think lapis lazuli had a limitation in stock in terms of harvesting it ethically, because the person that I got my lapis lazuli from, she said that, it's going to be expensive to get it, so she may not stock it, or she might have limited stock for the pieces that she wanted to put out. And lapis lazuli is my favorite crystal, and I love to use it. The color is beautiful. So everybody have like their own crystals that they would be drawn to for whatever reason. Anybody else use crystals in their life?
Yes, miss. We wear
Yeah.
crystals all the time, but like the bands, the amethyst bands,
Yeah.
and there are the protection bracelets. That I
Yes.
mean, there are a lot of crystal persons who sell crystals online jewelry format.
Mm-hmm.
So we buy gifts. I gift that a lot because I personally have seen it help my kids and myself.
Mm-hmm.
My son used to have a lot of nightmares, and he was gifted a Black Panther made out of obsidian,
Yeah.
and it actually helped without us even realizing it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So
so
it can
we
be
actually see the benefits of it.
right. It can be used for health purposes too, because I remember one of my friends, for her significant other, she was assembling different stones, and she was taking into consideration all the physical problems that he had, like back pain, eye, this, that, the other, and made something custom for him. So a lot of people who work with crystals would be able to give you something, for the different reasons. So it's the same way that you would use gold, it's the same way you would use copper, the same way you would use aluminum, etc. Crystal has its part in healing. So I'm happy that you all use it. So
So, hi,
yeah.
morning. Hi, Ms. Fellini. Morning, everyone.
Hi.
So, one thing I would like to say, and I know like other people that use crystals will realize, um most people who use like the jewelry or even sell the ornaments, when the crystal has the healing property, as you said, right? So when the crystal has a job, it has a healing job, a duty, right? As it came great down from Mother Earth, it came down from the mind, right? So it was God gifted to us. And when I am not the only person that could say it, millions of people could say it. You could go online and their stories, etc., right? Genuine crystals are cooled. And sometimes you would be wearing a crystal for years, months. And when a crystal is finished doing its duty to you, right, it will just automatically break or or it will automatically get lost. And that is a sign metaphysically that it did its duty. And what we as energy practitioners, and next year I will be an energy doctor. What we will learn to do that, you offer it back to Mother Earth either in the land or you offer it to the sea and you just thank the crystal for assisting in the situation because I use it daily with my clients and I have always gotten phenomenal results. And I am so happy that you included this and it was a surprise to me, this part of it.
So yeah, thank you, Shalini, for sharing that. I know
Okay.
you'll have parts of you'll add more insight as we continue. I'll consider you a
Sure.
resident expert for today. So
Oh gosh, oh gosh, no, please.
So yeah, to add to what Shalini said is that my personal experience with it is that I would get black tourmaline, right? Because I have had personal experiences with negative energy. We all know about evil eye. We all experience some sort of black magic at some point. From the time you were pregnant with your children, you've been saying prayers and making duas to protect your children. You know, when children are born, they are given like the Malju beads. So we take, or even the evil eye circle with the dot, the blue circle with the dot. There are different colors for different reasons, for different things. So we have always take a stance, against negative energy. And we've always been using crystals since the beginning of time. People has been using it from the beginning. So for me, I started to use black tourmaline because I couldn't get Moldavite. And to add to what Shalini said, like some days this black tourmaline just fell and break. And I was like, what? I like not too long bought this. And I'm like, okay, I made it into a pendant. I'm like, I could switch it off with my different necklaces or use it for a keychain. I'll have it on my body. And then one day it broke, and I was like, okay, what happened? And I realized that just like some people wear guards, the tabij and stuff. I don't know what your religious belief is, but I know most people have like a tabij. When it does its job, it breaks and you have to get a new one. So it's the same thing for the crystals, is that, it breaks, it does its job, and like Shalini said, you give it back to the earth. Especially if you lose it, then you still have the intention to say that this goes back to the earth. Thank you for doing its job, and that's it. So people have been using crystals from the beginning of time. You will see it date back to ancient Egypt. People would put it in their buildings, in their jewelry, in their clothing, in the weapons that they would make, all of these things, they would use it. So it's only in modern time we really don't have the beautification of crystals, really, and it's considered this taboo thing. Because I said I shared the YouTube link for Sanjivani to somebody who's a naturalist, and her response to me was that she saw my introduction post for the crystals class, and because she's Christian and she believes in the blood of Jesus, she cannot follow my Sanjivani page because I'm teaching a class
Oh,
on crystals. So I was like, okay, no
oh no.
problem, goodbye. Right? I will respect your beliefs, but some people are more open-minded, regardless of religion, and are willing to learn. So that's what we have to offer. Now, in India,
Um,
yeah,
Miss, okay, so this is Shalini, right? So you just because you're just saying that thing with that person being Christian, and well, I honor all the beliefs, etc., because the crystals are universal, right?
yeah, me too.
If anyone ever monitored the Pope, at one point in time he wore the amethyst. And the queen, many times she had on crystals, genuine crystals, and a lot of the stars, they use crystals and they believe in crystals. So I think that was a little BS on that person. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
No, I mean, like, this is what I say, like, we are a multicultural country, and therefore people should be open. But unfortunately, not a lot of people are open to it. Because my grandma is Jehovah Witness, and she's absolutely against every single thing that is not Jehovah Witness. So she'll even want to say, here. So,
Hi. Hello.
yeah.
Can I say something? Hi.
So,
Hi, this is Nicola. So,
yeah.
very interesting topic because as I have been a yoga instructor for quite some time, and we have always utilized crystals, within the yoga practices for a variety of things.
Yes.
Um, but it's interesting that I'm not at all surprised at that result, response from that person. I've had people come and say to me, that they were told by their priest that twisting their bodies into various positions invite the Satan into them, and so they can't do yoga. So it gets pretty extreme as to what religion can do. And it's unfortunate because I think it totally blocks people out from things that can help, and for them to be able to see the creation in its fullness. And it's always ironic to me, especially the Christians tend to be quite, I tend to get that a lot. Catholic, whatever, Christians, right? But the Bible is full of references to Christians. I mean, the Jewish rabbis used to wear a breastplate of crystals, and each tribe had a crystal. They constantly refer to sapphires and lapis lazuli and all of that in the Bible. So, it's very much cherry picking and a lack of understanding of what went before. And it's always sad for me to see the closed-mindedness of it. And with those people, I just let them move on because it can get pretty extreme and people can be quite vicious about it. And you just continue doing you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not gonna fight anybody on their beliefs. That's what keep them going at the end of the day. But like, yeah, so the thing about it is that religion is a way to control people, and a lot of time you will see people just accepting things without questioning it, right? It has always been a way to control people, or they use certain tactics with religion. You guys would just join back in, right? So for me, I think of religion and politics as the same thing. They kind of like two faces of the same coin.
Yeah, it's used for political purposes, which
Um,
is, yeah. It has always been though. Religion has always been political. So anyway, we shouldn't stray off the topic.
so like for me, I try to be a little more open-minded because I'm a herbal medicine practitioner, and I have to take into consideration that people have their own specific beliefs on what they're willing to do and what they're unwilling to do, right? So you might think a crystal is going to help somebody with their everyday life, and just because of their religion, they might not choose to use it. So to add to you guys talking about how the queen and them was, wearing the crystals, you would notice that India had a lot of gemstones, a lot of crystals, a lot of things going for them. And then colonization happened, and then Britain has everything now, right? So they would use it a lot in Reiki, their meditations. They would use it in their yoga practices. They have crystals in everyday life. So you could go back and see it. Now, a lot of indigenous people are sharing their practices with us and their clothing. And if you look at the stuff that the Native American wears, there's a lot of crystals in their clothing as well. They make beads out of it. They wear it. So we know, okay, everybody or every, like you were saying, every tribe would have things that is specific to them and to identify themselves. So crystals is nothing new. It just has negative connotations throughout history. Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce this very long word, but it talks about the electrical charge of the crystals and the effects that is going to be used. Now, people think that they don't use crystals in their life, but unfortunately, they do because our phones, our watches, we have a quartz watch, but they don't think quartz is a crystal. So all of these things are, we use it in our radios and our computers. That is what the mines in Africa and all those underdeveloped countries are being exploited for, is things that they use and, people bring across and they make it into products like our phones, etc. The atomic structure, basically it's repeating patterns. It's like a 3D structure, and because it's a 3D structure, each structure emits a different frequency. So again, working with crystals at specific frequency would work to help whatever ailment that needed to be treated at that frequency. So this is why you need to have somebody who practices crystals and understand energy and understand Reiki and all of these things. So we have Shalini, guys. She's going to be a doctor next year. So we can reach out to her to get some advice, right? So resonance and frequency. So health and wellness happens at certain frequency. And this is why, they use chemotherapy and stuff when you have cancer to try and treat it. But there are other ways to treat cancer, and that includes herbal medicine. So like I was saying, different resonance and frequencies that's naturally in the crystal. So you just choose the one that aligns for whatever it is you need for your ailments. So we have the 7 different tracker points. So you'll have different resonance and energy for each of these tracker points, which is why there's a different crystal or crystals associated with it. So it's using herbal medicine because it can amplify the effects of herbal remedies. So, for example, rose quartz can be paired with herbs like rose or lavender to promote emotional healing and self-love. This is something that I use personally simply because, I am a Libra. I'm also very vain. And sometimes I really don't if it is that people are very negative around me, I feel like I need to do things for myself. And all of this self-love comes with rose quartz, and you use the roses, sorrel, any of those flowers that tend to be like red or pink could be used. Mindfulness and meditation. So amethyst is used for this. It's a very dark purple. I think everybody know what amethyst looks like by now. I think it's very common, but please be careful of where you purchase in your stones, because there are lots of times people will sell it and this is what amethyst looks like, right? And it's not real. So, because crystals are also very expensive. So energy healing and chakra Reiki and chakra balances. So these are 2 different services that are offered for people who are energy healers. So each crystal is associated with a specific chakra, and I think I put it when we covered chakra. Yeah, I did. I think one of your homework as well is to fill in a chart with the crystals. Okay, so clear quartz is often called the master healer. So basically, this is like you can charge it to do what you need to do. So it's if it is you don't have something, you can use clear quartz to charge it to do, say, lapis lazuli, and then when you finish with it, you can clean it and then put it back to store wherever you have your storage and use it again. But clear quartz as itself supports mental clarity, spiritual growth, and balancing all chakras. And it can be programmed with specific intention and is excellent for meditation and focus. So this one, you can find people who have land in the mountains or near the quarries and stuff. So like my friend had a whole lot of these in her yard by her dad, and when we went, we just walked up the driveway and was just picking up clay quartz. So, this is part of so I can't see why people will have negative connotations, with it. So amethyst, known for calming and protective qualities, and it supports emotional balance, intuition, and connection to higher consciousness. Excellent for stress, enhancing meditation, and promoting restful sleep. So Lata would have said that they use the amethyst for her son to help with his nightmares and to sleep. So here we have that property for amethyst. And this is widely used for emotional and spiritual healing and for enhancing the third eye and crown chakras. So you can put it in moonlight overnight or use smudging. Now, smudging, again, there's a bit of controversy about smudging practices, but usually you could just use incense if it is that you don't want to appropriate, because some people say using things like sage and Palo Santo is appropriating. But it really, you need to understand that smudging sticks usually have sage in it. And sage is used by Native Indians to call their ancestors and call spirits to them. So it might not have the effect of cleansing and removing as you think it might. So depending on what your smudging stick has in it, it's always safer to use something less controversial. And avoid seawater. So take it off before you go into the beach. So moonlight is ideal, so especially during the full moon. So I was not going to mention that each phase of the moon can be used to charge your crystal so that it's ready to do what it needs to do. People put their water above the crystal so that they could charge their water with the properties of the crystals, and then they would drink that water. So that's one way of doing it. You're not supposed to drink water that crystals has been in, but you can have it near the water to be able to absorb its properties. So rose quartz, I mentioned that previously, and it's used for self-compassion, empathy, and emotional healing. So this is usually linked to love and that emotion. So it's like it could be used for relationships as well, because self-love is a relationship with yourself, right? So it still could be used for relationships and healing emotional wounds. It resonates with the heart chakra, keeping to release past hurts and invite new love. So new love doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. It can be, self-love, like I said. So you would notice that most of the cleansing for crystals would be similar, but then in this one, you can dry it with salt, and then you can charge it in moonlight or in direct sunlight as well. You could keep it by your bed or